What they say will be the reason it's wrong. They take away and we just turn on ourselves. A bad reaction that we can't seem to help. Divided by the tyrants, so we riot till we burn our alliances. It's the reason this virus lives. The violence that rises when silence wins. We do it for the rise. We do it for the future that may not come if the fight's not won. Violence, 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 violence. Is it really the answer or what they want? Things are getting so severe. It's left to all we hold sincere. When no one is willing to talk these things through. The clock keeps on ticking, but what's left to prove is fading away, destroyed by the hate. Always been someone with something to say. I cannot stand for this life. It's not why I'm living my life. So why let this violence survive? We do it for the rise. We do it for the future that may not come.
All right, Steve, how goes it?
Oh, not too bad. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, cool.
But I'm trying to figure out what order of business I really want to go into now. There are some things that I do want to address that have happened as of late.
Right.
But I also want to be objective. I don't want to be like the dick that's just accusing people of shit. Though I want to be objective.
Right. I understand.
All right, now let me just begin with this preface. I have become aware of the accusations made toward Cass, but I haven't really looked super big into it. I would like very much to actually take the time to sit through everything on both sides and comb through it to draw my own conclusion, instead of being more or less spoon-fed or walked or directed to the conclusion that he is X, Y, or Z.
Understandable.
And here's the thing: even when everyone else was kind of pissed with him and keeping away from him, I only did what I like. Here's the thing: I got away from him not because I believed it, but because I wanted just to get away from everything until all the facts were out. And all the facts are not out quite yet as it is. So therefore, I'm not going to say he is or isn't. I'm going to say I don't know. I haven't had time to look at everything. And I will publicly tell everyone, including Cass if he's watching, like I give you nothing but permission to give everyone everything that you can to help clear your name. Because I don't believe that you are a horrible person. I just believe that there are certain things you've done towards myself recently that kind of just made me want to say fuck all of this and just leave you to whatever fate you have. And I don't say this out of like some bullshit thing Lio said about you or whatever. I just don't want to be involved, really. Like, honestly, it was kind of fucked up seeing someone that you at least wanted to remain on some kind of friendly terms with, even if it wasn't someone that you really wanted to really jump in feet first with this whole situation, to go from either make people be quiet or I'm gonna essentially hold a gun to your head and then blow your fucking head off.
Yeah, that was disappointing to say.
I understand why he would be upset. I understand why he would be angry, but the fact is, I'm not really in control of anyone or anything except myself. I would
Yeah,
understand wanting to relay that message, but essentially holding someone at gunpoint and trying to make them act as your emissary is not going to make them want to negotiate with you or make them want to communicate a message if your only way of trying to get the message across is threatening them.
yeah. I will say right now that I don't know if you knew or not, but both me and Jennifer kind of talked with Cass one on one on Discord, uh, and then we were both brought into this group chat with Cass and some of his other people, and they did provide us a fair amount of documentation and
Okay,
links
that's good.
and archives to kind of clear Cass's name.
Okay.
So there is quite a bit of evidence to suggest that Leo's, or at least most of Leo's claims, are bullshit. As far as the elephant in the room, which is of course the Spellblade shit, from what Cass has told me, and from like, because he did say that he could have the archives from his old servers that he could like bring up at some point or something, but given what he's told me and given the info they've provided, I'm going to go ahead and assume that the Spellblade stuff is, in terms of him grooming Spellblade or whatever, was a complete fabrication. Cass did admit that there was quite a bit of an age gap between himself and Spellblade, but even still, Spellblade was apparently 18 at the time that they met. So
Okay, so as it stands now, we can clear him of any of that shit.
pretty much, yeah. I mean, I've already apologized to Cass for jumping the gun because I did. the way that I viewed it was when I saw the video or the videos, they seemed pretty damning at the time. And I saw Cass's reaction at the time, anyways, as him kind of like tucking his tail between his legs and just running because he didn't want to address anything.
He had his hands full.
Yeah. However, when I talked to Cass one-on-one, it was more of a scenario where he just didn't think anyone was going to believe him anyways, because there were already a bunch of people that had either seen the videos or they just wanted to believe whatever. So it was a combination of that, and then just him wanting to move on with his life in general and move on from all that stuff. So in that context, I can understand his reaction. But like I said, I already apologized to Cass directly for jumping the gun, and Jennifer did too. So I think at this point we can sort of lay it to rest in terms of all that.
All right.
And
I'm glad my skepticism was rewarded with the actual backing up that, yeah, a lot of that was bullshit. So my skepticism was correct, despite the measures I took just to kind of sit in the middle until I was sure.
Yeah. And another thing, what was it? Fuck. There was something else. Yeah, I lost it. But, I mean, like, I know that Cass he did admit that he fucked up in terms of, like, Vlad and, like, the zoophile porn and shit like that Vlad was threatening people with, or saying that he had it because it triggered people or whatever the fuck he said. But
I mean, I'm glad at least he owned it. I just wish there was a better way to get the point across than the shit that happened earlier.
Oh, yeah. I mean, regardless, because even if all that is water under the bridge at this point, which Cass agreed that it is at this point, I still think the reaction, with taking that old ass video that we all know the video that we're talking about here from long, long ago, that even Cass himself said that was blown way out of proportion, and that to bring that video up now, just as a means of whatever you want to call it, whether it's, he calls it an ultimatum, on your end, it seems like blackmail, regardless of what you want to call it. That just seemed pretty unnecessary. That and threatening to share the screenshots of the group chat. I mean, that was kind of, because all we were asking was for Cass to just address the claims and just provide the evidence that would prove him innocent, which he did eventually. But I don't think he had to do all that stuff first before doing that. It just seemed very unnecessary and kind of disappointing.
Honestly, I would have been happy if you just said, look, just give me a few days to dig through everything so I can get everything I need that would help be better organized with clearing myself.
Yeah, that would have been fine. Like, I would have been fine with that. But
that's the same thing, Keykeeper. That's why I didn't really want to pick sides or say anything, because I wanted to make sure all the facts saw the light of day first. The only reason I kept myself at distance wasn't because I believed it or disbelieved it. It was because there was skepticism about Lyo's claims, but not certainty 100%. So I decided to stay the fuck out until at least I knew what was going on.
Yeah, which is why I didn't really understand why he went after you, of all people, because myself or Jennifer, I could understand, but you, I didn't understand, really.
I mean, I was willing to listen to what he had to say. You figure that, honestly, I just would, now I know this happened earlier, but it's like the best thing to do is not to, like, the one person that will be willing to listen to you is probably not the person who you should be threatening with an RPG at point blank range.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was willing to listen too. It's not that neither myself or Jennifer wasn't willing to listen. We were probably a little more critical for sure. I won't deny that. But even when we were being quite critical, I still didn't have it cemented in my head that Cass was 100% guilty or whatever. It was more how he was like approaching it. But again, now that I've got the proper context and stuff and what he has told me, I understand his reaction. I get it. He just wants to move on with all this stuff, and he's got several other things going on in his personal life now that he's more invested in at this point. So I get all that, and I understand all that. at the end of all this, at the end of the day, I mean, again, it's the reaction itself was a little disappointing. It was kind of it was just sad to see.
No, there
That's
was a
pretty much.
now here's the thing, there was a bit of a screw up on all sides. I'm willing to admit that I should have just kind of hung around even if I was just hanging back and staying quiet instead of just ejecting, but it's like I just don't want to be here if there is some kind of fallout because I don't want to get caught up in the middle of it.
Yeah, of course.
Even if I can't prove anything, and honestly, I'm glad that my suspicions were confirmed about Lyle being full of shit. But at the same time, it's like I just had to make sure that I was doing the right thing by not sticking my head inside the cannon, if it was loaded or not.
Yeah, and something that I didn't really stop to think about, which is again my mistake. That's my fuck up. But something that some of Cass's people pointed out is that the video, in reality, a lot of it is guilt by association. And
That's the problem. A lot of it is basically like we're just gonna like pin you to the wall because you happen to even know these people, even if it's like just through acquaintanceship or just like they talk to them once and that's about it.
yeah, and I asked Cass about that, and Cass said that he's cut all ties with most of those people. He just kind of fell in with some shitty, nefarious people, which happens. So
The problem
you
is
know,
you can never really check the scruples of people online unless, of course, you've known them for many, many years inside and out.
yes,
And
exactly,
even then, you can't get to the back end of everyone's closet.
pretty much.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm willing to admit that when that whole situation occurred years ago, yeah, that was massively fucked up of me. I don't agree with what I did back then, looking at it now. And I'm
Mhm.
never going to defend it. That's why I completely disavow that whole fucking series of events. It's not because, well, he's running away. It's like, no, it's just not who I wanted to be. It's not who I am now. And it most certainly isn't who I'd want to be in the future.
Of course.
It's a very different time period because like 6 years ago things were very different, like when it came down to my finances, where I stood, like pretty much everything that would have impacted my thinking at the time was pretty much going down the shitter.
Yeah.
But luckily everything kind of rectified itself when I managed to just kind of pull my head out of my ass and like, look, you can grieve later, but right now you got to pick yourself up and figure out what the fuck you're going to be doing with yourself.
Exactly. Well, I remember too, like when you and I, became acquainted over the Stetson stuff in the very beginning, and we started talking more and more. I remember I came across that video, and I even approached you about it and asked you about it, and you told me that it was a different time, it was a different, and that's not who you were anymore, and that you regretted it. Not that I would trust anything that group, Cloud9, Lachlan, Marbles, all those people. Not that I would trust anything that they have to say because they're just bad faith.
They're notorious. They're notorious for just like, remember when MDA got caught? Like, I know neither you nor I were around for it, but we pretty much caught like the tail end of it when people kind of explained what happened.
Yes.
And they were pretty much trying to pull the same like guilt by association when it came down to MDA, for example. Like they were trying to nail Stout and Reese and Stevie all to the fucking wall over something Reese did. Meanwhile, Paul is sitting there talking to a 15-year-old girl on Facebook, apparently, and no one's supposed to think that's really fucking weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like projection. Thy name is filtration mask.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, I mean that was also and speaking of them, like I get that, because a lot of the stuff that was said out of anger, I'm sure, in the moment. But because I know there was something that was said, I think at some point I had heard about it, like about how, the Marbles was right about the ranters or whatever or something like that. I don't remember, but I'm sure that was probably just said out of anger, and a lot of things were said out of anger, probably from all sides. But
no, I am gonna give him like, now when Cass said that, I will give him this one little nugget out of that statement. Is that when it came down to a lot of people documenting things properly, they most certainly didn't. But also because a lot of those accounts have since been lost to time, all because YouTube started shifting around its terms and conditions.
Yeah.
A lot of it was because people just were getting nuked for duplicitous fucking reasons. It's like, just so you know, this is what's happening, and this is how you're gonna have to fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
By the way, Steve, have you encountered that fucking screen yet on YouTube where it says you have like you can only play so many videos until we disable the video player?
I think I've come across that. Yeah.
It's like, okay, so you're like threatening that I can no longer use your fucking platform for the main reason everyone else uses it, either until I allow you to basically drown me in ads that make the video almost irrelevant because I'm watching like 2 hours worth of ads for a 10-minute video, or I am basically going to have to open my mouth wide and suck YouTube's dick by handing them over my wallet.
Yeah.
So
Basically.
usually when a large company fucks you, it's because of your health insurance or something that the company offers. It's usually not the company asking for your money because of something that you would have normally wanted.
Yeah, that and the whole thing with like the ad blocker thing, how they're
Yeah,
making
it's
it to
like
where
if you dare use an ad blocker, we will fucking rake you across the goddamn. We will rake you across the coals. Don't you dare use that fucking ad blocker.
and it's like that one person came to Damien's video about it and was commenting about how, because YouTube allows its users to use their site for free and stuff, how dare people complain about them doing that. And the whole thing about it is, yes, we are allowed to use the site for free and all that crap. But another thing is that it's important for any business to try to keep their consumer base happy, even if it is for like a massive corporation like Google, YouTube, and stuff like that.
I mean, you probably
So,
shouldn't basically flip off all of your customers and say, fuck all of you, give us your money.
yeah,
And not to mention the fact, like, keep in mind, this is the same stupid motherfucker who was losing his mind at everyone later, like a Wednesday and Thursday on his community tab, basically screaming at everyone.
yeah,
I'm just gonna say it. Todd is not a well man.
no, not at all. No,
Like, I understand being pissed off with somebody if you feel like they're just bullshitting you or like lying straight up about what you said. But when you lose your fucking shit at random people just because they associate with someone who you blame for all your issues, that seems that says a lot more about you than it does about them as a person.
yeah, absolutely. He also tried to pick up that Undertaker freak talking point because UTF tried to claim that I was abusing my sister.
You pulled a harmless prank on her that would be annoying at best, mildly frustrating at worst.
Yeah, I was, I'm not using it as an excuse, but I think at the time I was like 17 or something, and I've been watching the McJuggerNugget videos, the Psycho videos. I'm sure everyone knows about those, and
Yeah, old videos.
yeah, and I had been teasing my sister, and I jokingly said, "Oh, so because we were going to go to the mall that day for Christmas shopping, her, myself, and our mom, and I jokingly told her, "Oh, we're actually not going today. We're going to go another day." And then my sister, I'm sure that
Just lost
people,
it.
yeah, just lost it. And so I thought, "Oh, this will be funny." And so I recorded it as background noise. I didn't actually record her. It was in the background, and I was like, "Oh, my psycho sister freak out or whatever." And yeah, I posted it, and it was up for a while, and it was a stupid little video. It was probably wasn't the best thing, but it's not up anymore.
It was a relatively harmless joke that he was freaking out about.
Yeah, and the reason it's not even up anymore was because I think it was a few years ago at this point, but Liz, my sister, she messaged me and she was like, "Hey, do you mind taking that video down?" And what did I do? Like a minute later, I went and deleted it because I don't give a shit.
It's like I did it mainly because I realized that it didn't deserve to be there. It was a joke, and the joke had since run dry.
Exactly. Yeah, because UTF was saying, "Oh, this video didn't blow up like you wanted it to, did it?" And it's just like, I don't give a fuck.
It's like, John needs to remember that the only reason he got as far as he did when he was online is because he was sucking the Archfiend's dick religiously.
Yeah.
Had it not been for him blowing the Archfiend the entire time all this shit was going on, he wouldn't have made it so far.
No, not a
By
chance.
the way, Prof, you've arrived a bit late, but yeah, we can clear Cass of any guilt. Those of us that were skeptical, we were right. We can confirm the skepticism to have been well-founded. So luckily that whole issue is resolved. Even if I'm not really particularly fond of his behavior earlier, at least I can clear him of any of that bullshit that he was trying to be chained with.
Yeah. And I will also say, for my part, I've already owned up several times, but I will say I absolutely jumped the gun. I fucked up. I was mostly acting on emotion, I will say, so that was my bad. I probably should, but yeah, I admit that I fucked up on that part. In my defense, I will say I was mostly going off of the information that was readily available. And when I watched Leo's videos initially, yeah, it seemed pretty damning at the time. But in hindsight, a lot of it, like I said, like we already talked about, was kind of like guilt by association. There were some other things in there, like obviously the obvious thing with the Spellblade shit. Yeah, I mean that was a thing, but it wasn't a thing, but it was a thing that fueled the.
It generated some concern.
Yes, generated concern, and for a little bit, yeah, that was the whole thing. But that's been cleared and done away with. So
YouTube takes away any feature for users that don't make them money. Well, yeah, that's the problem. Is like, keep in mind, Damien highlighted in his video that YouTube either made I believe it made like what, $7 billion last year, or 700 billion. Like, it was some absurd fucking number.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And the thing is, I was like, oh, so you still want more? Like, your company made more than what most of your workers will ever see in a fucking lifetime. And yet you're trying to tell everyone else that you desire another $12 a month from every motherfucker that wants to have the fucking platform without being fucking raped by ads, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I want to watch a music video. Guess what? There's 10 ads right behind the first 30 seconds of the music video. You better bend over, son. Here they come.
Seeing like in doing shit like that over time, they're only ensuring that like alternative sites are going to keep growing.
I mean, when VidMe, for example, was coming out, the only reason that VidMe didn't make it is because YouTube just fucking monopolized the market. So whenever a competitor tries to get close to taking any bit of its cheddar, it just takes a shotgun to it and blows it the fuck away, whether it be legally or through any fucking corporate means it can.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know that some people believe that there is no real alternative site right now, but I mean they are out there, because there's BitChute, Rumble, Odyssey, and other sites like that. Yeah, they're nowhere near as big as YouTube is, and they might not rival YouTube anytime soon. But if YouTube keeps fucking up like they are, then like I said, they're just going to ensure that those alternative sites are going to keep growing.
Especially if enough of these aggregate sites end up, like, if you have enough competitors, even if a single competitor isn't large enough to pose a threat, if there's a wide enough range of competitors to the point where your profit can keep being divided and quartered in half, to the point where all your users will eventually just say, yeah, fuck this, we're all out of here. Like, it won't make a difference whether or not you have one big competitor or a bunch of small ones, because once you're bleeding from that many injuries, you're not going to be able to stem it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like, it's like we got one big gash in your side is a big deal, but when it's like dozens of smaller gashes all over your body that you can't fucking close, you're still fucked.
Yep.
It's like, it's only one gash. No, it's like 9, and you're fucking bleeding out.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Remember when Susan was in charge? And they brought COPPA and stuff up. It's like, you mean to tell me that you had to be leaned on by the federal government to not sell the information of people that were using your site that were 13?
Yeah, that's fucked.
Not only that, but it's also just the fact that for the longest fucking time, they were essentially keeping a lot of that stuff behind, like, they were keeping it under wraps, that they were not being completely transparent with the fact that they were giving out people's like browsing information on YouTube to allow people to market products with them, even if they would openly reject that.
Yep.
And then the whole time it's like, well, I didn't like we don't know what you're doing. Like you know exactly what the fuck you're doing because you're more or less creating an environment where people have no other choice but to either go along with it or they end up losing all their ability to post anywhere because they're more or less being held at gunpoint by YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst part is, like, it doesn't even matter if someone tries to fight it because, like, a person can only fight so much with a large company before they realize that they've essentially been backed into a corner and they're either going to have to deal with it or they're just going to have to leave the fucking platform out of fear of what's going to happen if they try to fight it too hard.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was like absolutely shocked when Damien was able to get his original channel back.
Like, part of me thinks I might want to try to file an appeal for mine, but I know for a fact that the robot responsible for that shit's going to look at that for like 30 seconds like, I'm sorry, you can't have that back. I don't care how many people were sending you death threats and whether or not you were just responding to what they said about you. I don't care. You can't have it back.
Yeah, more than likely.
The reason I'm a smartass is because I deal with stupid people in my life all the time, and honestly, I feel like we need to have a change of pace.
Yeah, I mean, after a while, especially when it comes to the internet, you know, you can only try to be as rational and civil, you know, for so long until it just gets to you and you become more of a snarky asshole. Because sometimes you kind of have to be.
And then the problem is, like, when you deal with idiots, a lot of the time it's like, how many times must I rephrase the same lesson for your miserable ass to learn? It's like, apparently people don't learn. Whatever. Like, honestly, there are a few people and stand up into my personal life who I've either watched regularly on specials or lived with and was raised by, and they pretty much would say, yeah, like, well, look, here's the thing. You can only screw up with the same thing so many times before you gotta start wondering what you're doing wrong, why you're doing it, and you gotta figure out why it is you keep repeating the same lesson when you fail to learn the first, second, or third time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it reminds me when I said to Lance in the car that, like, how many times do you need to put your own dick in a mousetrap before you realize that it fucking hurts? Yeah, the 30th time wasn't any different than the first, was it?
Yeah.
Apparently,
That's
the
correct.
little nut job is still floating around.
Of course he is.
Sad little fuck. Like, honestly, there are some people I feel genuinely bad for because I know they didn't really choose to turn out the way they do. And then there are people who do, like, everything humanly possible to do nothing with their lives, and they just don't care how badly they fuck themselves over.
Yeah, that's kind of the story of UTF, really. Because you know, obviously, as I've said before, I used to be a big fan of his way back in the day, and what he talked about in his personal, like in his upbringing with his parents and stuff, especially with his father, it sounds like he just kind of never really had a chance. He was kind of always destined to be kind of the bitter asshole that he is now because of who he was raised by. And now
he was basically trapped by the environment psychologically all the way through.
Yeah.
One thing I just don't understand though is like how many times did he just backstab his own friends and basically just take a shotgun to his friendships and then think to himself, this is totally not going to affect me negatively at all.
Yeah, it's got to be mentally exhausting after a while to just keep going through the same thing like that over and over again, to keep severing ties with your friends and then apologizing and then severing ties again. I couldn't imagine doing that over and over again.
Yeah, 8 years ago, he just turned into a massive douche because he was trying so hard to like chase the controversy of the great big political shift that happened 8 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. I was still subscribed to him when he was his content. He always made, like, here and there would be more political videos, But I know like in 2015, 2016, his videos started becoming more and more about that stuff. And his view was slanted so much like one way that he wasn't able to see any valid points that could be on the other side. It was basically, it just boiled down to if you don't have this set of opinions, or if you're not on this side, then you're just bad or wrong or whatever. And then I know when Trump won the election in 2016, he threw a big fucking fit over it.
Like I understand not being pleased by it, but I don't get why everyone that lost their shit over that, they all acted like it was like a personal slight against them, like it was them who lost the election, but not the person they voted for.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. And then I remember he made a video at the end of that year saying that Bernie Sanders should be the president of the United States. And it's just
not that Bernie didn't have good ideas. It's just the fact is like all that money needs to come from somewhere, and not everyone in the world is going to want to pay like 30% tax to send people to college for degrees that mean nothing.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I think that. I mean, I'm very, very. I'm definitely not a Bernie fan, to say the least. I mean, not to get too much into that, but yeah, I think I don't know. People like John don't seem to understand that Bernie's especially his economic policies in particular, like, yes, they look great on paper, but
when you put them into practice, it can bankrupt a lot of families that require that income just to survive.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, it's the same reason that who wanted, like, I want to start a socialist country. Like, dude, you don't understand. Like, a socialist country, everyone's equal because everyone's fucking broke. That is not the same thing as everyone being treated equal because they are viewed as equal.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's like the novel Animal Farm. At the fucking end of it, you realize the pigs basically turned into humans because they got greedy and they desired more power and more authority than they had when the animals ran the farm by themselves.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best novels that was, I believe it was something by Orwell or Marx. I'm not sure.
It was Animal Farm was by George Orwell.
Okay, yeah. So it was like 1984.
Yes. I've read 1984. I haven't read Animal Farm yet. I should. I would like to.
Like, we read Animal Farm in high school. Like, I actually have 1984, Fahrenheit 451, Lord of the Flies, and The Killing Mockingbird on my bookshelf behind me. But remember, I totally don't read. They're just there for decoration.
Yeah.
Like, the copy of 1984 was actually a Christmas present from the mother-in-law, and like the copy of Fahrenheit 451 was a gift for Kay, I believe, anniversary of the year before last, if memory serves.
That's cool.
Honestly, I like reading books like 451 and 1984 because they are important to think about, because whenever any sort of political authority gets way too much power, it will literally bend you over and start fucking all of you.
Yeah. There was another book that was similar in vein to 1984 and Fahrenheit 451. I think it's called Brave. Is it Brave New World?
I believe so. Like V for Vendetta was also very similar to that when it described like England basically turned into like a incredibly racist, fascist fucking country because a crazy religious fundamentalist nut job ends up getting political power, and then they create a virus, frame people for a viral attack to kick all the people that are not Caucasian out of the country, and turn it into a strictly Christian nation ran by just one party and one person.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was actually an excellent novel. The film was excellent. Like, everything about that, the film, everything about that whole thing was done perfectly. Every adaptation has actually lived up to the expectations and has never been disappointing.
Yeah, there was that one. I think there was another one by that Ayn Rand wrote as well that had a similar premise. I forget which one it was though. Not Atlas Shrugged or Fountainhead, but it was another one.
I just realized that the people, like the song producer on YouTube, JT Machinima, I just realized that he just referenced two of those, that story and that author in a rap for the first BioShock.
Oh, really?
if you ever wanted to, yeah, Atlas Shrugged. If you ever want to get a good book to read, I'd recommend getting BioShock's Rapture by John Shirley.
Okay.
It would help you lay the. I know that you've most likely never really played the game or really heard of it, but it would help build an understanding as to how a massive capitalist country would work underwater if there was no limit on science or industry or art, and you just see how shit hits the fan really fast with no one to help monitor and regulate these things.
Yeah.
That, like, honestly, that game did so much when it came down to environmental storytelling and just all the stuff you could do if you wanted to play around with different combat tactics and styles. It was just I play it once a year, every year, because I just love the way everything about it was done. It was done so perfectly that I was just blown away every time. I've never gotten bored with playing it because you can always try something new.
Yeah, I think I've heard of it. The name sounds familiar.
Let's see, I'll pull something up and you might be able to remember it from there.
Maybe. Oh, it's Anthem. That's the name of it. Anthem by Ayn Rand. Yeah.
All right, let's see here. I hope my arms and legs work this time. All right, here we go.
All right.
A man has a choice. I choose the impossible.
This is an old thing, but I'll be damned if it's not
City
still
where
incredible.
the artist would not fear the limits. Where the great will not be constrained by the small. Where the scientist would not be bound by petty morality. I chose to build rapture. But my city was betrayed by the weak. So I ask you, my friend, if your life were the prize, would you kill the innocent? Would you sacrifice your humanity? We all make choices, but in the end, our choices make us.
Keep in mind that's just a trailer. That was just their announcement trailer, but that really didn't show any of the actual gameplay.
Okay.
Now, that thing with the shotgun, for example, like the close range shot, was actually going to be an execution mechanic they were going to do when the protagonists were to execute a Big Daddy, but they had to cut it due to the fact that it would require too much time and money to implement it every time there would be an execution sequence. Because they would have to program that model in each and every time, and honestly, they had way too many issues trying to rig the model every time because it would break. Like the model would literally break to where the shotgun would like fusing with the protagonist's forearm, so it would look like the shotgun literally just sprouted out of part of his palm instead of him just holding it against it. I'm looking forward to the Rapture. Pretty close for everyone. Oh god. Well, I guarantee I won't be going, so I have nothing to worry about. I don't think he likes heretics, so he's not going to take me anywhere. Get the heretic! Get the heretic! I love how a lot of people laughed right off the bat.
Did they?
Oh, what's that? We heard you didn't. Oh, what's that? We heard you didn't accuse him. Well, we're out of here.
Oh, what they left because what the.
Because I didn't just lose my shit and just start calling him names and just lose my mind about something. No, like how dare I? How dare you go crazy, but not really.
Yeah, everyone always wants to see a good drama train. That's for sure.
I mean, it's not that Here's the thing. I'm not going to pretend that I'm going to get over that shit overnight. I'm not going to pretend that it's going to be like forgiven and forgotten within the next 48 hours. But I'm willing to give him another chance. And I'm going to at least see what happens within the next year. If it happens again, he's going to be Audi 5000.
Yeah, that's understandable.
But if he wants to actually talk about an issue like that, if anything like that ever happens again, I don't think it will. But if he would rather talk about it and just kind of sit down and discuss what the problem is and handle it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. Like I said, I understand that he wants to like move on with his life, and I understand that being dragged back into it after trying to move on from it
would be frustrating and upsetting.
Would be frustrating. Yes, definitely. And like I said, before I didn't really have that context because
everything was incredibly vague.
Yes, and the idea that I was under was that he had kind of just went into hiding or something because of all the blowback. But that's not really what it was. It was really just him trying to move on from it and just live his life, which I understand because I mean we've all got personal lives and stuff going on outside of the internet, obviously. But I know he's got several things going on now, so that's fine. I understand from that angle.
It's just that I feel like we all could have used just a bit more context prior. That way, it's like, hey, I'm going to be gone for like a bit until so I can figure things out. Like, I just want everyone to know that I'm not running. I'm just trying to figure shit out before I get back to everyone. That way, I can sort things out on my end.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I know that it might sound ridiculous to ask for like an update like that, but at least if you can update people in that sense, you can make it so much easier for people to know that you're just trying to get everything straightened out. So that way, if it does need to be addressed, you'll be able to do it in a manner that's helpful.
Yeah, I mean, and plus, it's like it's. I think that at one point, I don't know where we all stand with each other now, but at one point we were friends. We were all friends. When I say we, I mean like us with Cass and stuff. We were friends and we collaborated on a bunch of stuff. So there's that element to it as well. It's just let us know what's going on because, you're someone that we've considered, that we've trusted for a while, for years. So even if we don't talk that often.
Just expect that kind of trust in return. That way, if something is going on, we'll know whether or not there's just shit going on that we should just wait for it to see what happens.
Yeah. And that's not to imply that, anything should be automatically owed to us or anything, but it would, because of course not. But
It would just clear up any misconceptions. That way they wouldn't have had time to even sprout.
yeah, exactly.
Because the problem is if no one knows what the fuck is going on, no one's going to know what's going to happen. And because of that, it's impossible really to know what to do in a situation when a lot of the details that would be relevant to clarify whether or not someone's guilty or innocent. In this case, it was innocence.
Yeah.
But with so little going on, people need to know what exactly is happening. That way they'll know whether or not they should be greatly concerned or just say, well, let's see what happens first.
Yeah. And
that's why I maintain that whole fucking approach where it's like, look, I'm not gonna say shit one way or the other until I know for sure. And I just want to make sure that we have everything all figured out before we jump in right in line with that shit.
right.
All right,
And-
Steve, you ready to watch something to torture both of us?
Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead.
Okay, time for me and Steve to run the gauntlet. Time to run the gauntlet, Steve. Hang on to your ass.
I'm hanging on.
It's like I don't really have a choice. It's attached to me. The only way for me not to hang on to it would be if someone were to cut it off me at that point.
Pretty much.
And even then, that would require a lot of surgical procedures that I don't think most people are skilled enough to do. Let's see here. I'm trying to find it. Like, I know I was looking. There we are. My leg is bleeding. So is my brain. I'm breathing into my fucking brain as we speak. A brain bleed. Power of the brain bleed compels you.
Yes. Well, while we're waiting to pull this up. Oh, wait. Okay.
Commercials for everyone. Hooray. I'm not paying for YouTube Premium. Fuck
When
you.
Sam Pepper changed his TikTok description to the 2 words lottery winner, then claimed to have purchased an island in Thailand for $8.9 million, it was so
Okay, for the kids in the back that don't remember this, Sam Pepper was the douchebag that got accused of sexually harassing people for a long ass amount of time because of all those fake pinching women's asses in public pranks.
Yes.
Just so everyone has like a little TLDR about this. It was unprecedented. Nobody get 100% exactly. Yeah, it was hard to be 100% on anything because there was just a lot up in the air that no one really knew about until Cass cleared a lot. Like, honestly, I'm willing to say straight up that he's cleared everything up. I don't really believe Lio. Didn't really believe him from the beginning. It's just it had to be sure.
certainly bizarre and suspicious.
I have a budget of around 10 million. I can drive my speedboat directly in here, put a panoramic window right in here. I shook his hand, 8.9 million, great deal.
What was even stranger was that Sam hadn't provided any evidence for this unexpected lucky win. No receipts, no specification as to how much he had won, no news articles about a TikToker winning the lottery. The only evidence he had was his own personal anecdote
I recently won the lottery, as some of you know.
and a 7 million view TikTok of him looking at islands in a small wooden boat. So when Sam Pepper was unable to provide any evidence to support the fact that he had any money at all, it was hardly a surprise. As those who know the past of Sam Pepper, from his active persona on Big Brother to his fake pranks on YouTube, know that his entire
Oh yeah, I remember. Oh god, that one was particularly fucked up.
Yeah, he was the one that did the prank where he like tied up his friend, right, or his best friend, and then like
Yeah, there were two friends. One of them was in on it, and the other one had no idea. And he basically thinks that his friend just got fucking blasted in the head.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
that you basically traumatized someone with
Yeah.
the thought that someone that they probably loved like a brother is fucking dead feet from where they're sitting.
yeah, dude. If one of my best friends did that to me, that would.
It's like, dude, I
No.
thought you were fucking dead.
It's like that would take a while to forgive.
Because not only like the relief would immediately be washed over with. Why the fuck would you make me think you were about to die just now?
Exactly.
I mean, here's the thing. I feel bad when I startle anyone even mildly by accident, but making someone think that you're actually fucking dead, now that right there is fucked up.
Very.
Don't get my hopes up, bro. Oh, jeez.
Entire career has
Yeah, don't worry, Prof. We're gonna jump over to that video after this.
been built on lies in a similar fashion to Dan Bilzerian,
Let's
who he
torture ourselves.
unsurprisingly happens to be an acquaintance of, judging from an Instagram photo taken out the front of Bilzerian's LA mansion. This video will cover the story of a man who faked, frauded, and swindled his way to social media and TikTok success, being exposed at every single point in his journey,
guys,
yet
Lacey
still
Green.
managing to maintain his
boy.
relevancy over a 10-year period, albeit with
Now, Grams, I don't really have any ill feelings towards Lacey because she kind of straightened down and she realized that, yeah, there's
Yeah.
nuance to a lot of this shit.
Yeah,
But it's
she's
just,
matured a lot.
it's so fucking weird seeing her in any video after so long.
one of the worst reputations in internet history.
All this stuff is fake. Like, we believe it all, but it's really fake.
Before he would fake
With a haircut like that, you should be crucified. Seriously, a douchebag of the year haircut was no longer popular after 2011. A lot of people did it because their barbers were fucking lazy. Just cut 2/3 of my hair off and leave the top to remind you of what someone's pubes look like after a lightning strike.
It's like if Edward Scissorhands like gained a little more color in his skin and went to and got his hair styled in a really bad way.
He looks like what would happen if Edward Scissorhands was your barber and he suddenly suffered a stroke.
fake his way to success on TikTok with videos like this one, in which he'd gotten someone to dress up as Justin Bieber.
No, is that Justin Bieber? Yeah. Oh my
Why?
God. What do you call a gal from Canada that can't sing? Justin Bieber.
Sandpepper had a prolific reputation on YouTube as one of the fakest pranksters on the platform dating back to the early
Oh, you didn't know, Rhodes? Apparently Sam caught one of those melanated skunks, skinned it, and stuck it to his scalp.
2010s.
So I worked out, oh, okay, I can do these pranks that these other channels are doing, and I can just fake them. I can just, like, make fake videos.
However, prior to even this, Sandpepper had already begun to show his fake persona to the world in 2010 when he would appear on the show Big Brother UK for the very first time. In
The fact that anyone watches Big Brother in general is fucking mind-eating to me.
Yeah. You know, another thing about Sam Pepper that's like, it's just, it makes you lose all hope is the fact that you don't really have to be a very talented person at all to blow up like this.
No, there are some people that are talented, they blow up, but the problem is sometimes it's just a matter of I need to find the proper audience of jello head motherfuckers that will believe anything I say because I use bright colors and speak loudly. And that's how you end up with subscribers, and that's how you end up being a channel like Jellybean, for example.
Yeah, or what the fuck is her name? Sniper Wolf.
Well, Sniper Wolf is also famous particularly because of her chest.
Fair.
I mean, let's be honest, a lot of the people that followed her around were just horny 12-year-olds. It's the same, like, here's the thing. I don't dislike Armorath. I genuinely feel bad that she went through the abuse that she went through with her ex-husband or boyfriend, whatever that man was to her, when he basically tore her whole room upside down. But like people gotta remember, like, a lot of the people that follow around people like Armorath who do hot tub streams on Twitch, a lot of them are like horny 12-year-olds that are peeling their carrots for the first time when they finally figured out that part of them works that way. I'm
Yeah.
not shaming these people for what they do. I'm just saying that someone like Sniper Wolf and someone like Sandpepper, they're peas in the same fucked up low IQ pod.
Yeah.
In his Big Brother profile, he claimed to particularly dislike girls who put on a dumb act, yet this is seemingly what Sam began to gain a reputation for in the early days of his online career. However, one advantage that he did get out of his appearance on Big Brother was
When you didn't move out of the emo phase.
Oh, God. I thought I was looking at Onision for a second.
It's like, this is how you know it was like the early 2010s when literally everyone that was like a teenager or a grown man wanting to be a teenager had this fucking haircut.
trafficked to his brand new YouTube channel, where he began to do pranks at a time when there were barely any other YouTubers doing pranks on the platform.
And there's like 3 channels that made pranks. There was me, there was like Prank versus Prank, and there was Ed Bassmaster. Really, they were the only kind of known prank channels out there.
And in the beginning, it was obvious that they were real. The reactions felt authentic, and there was way too many people in each video for Sam to have been paying all of them.
I'm really sorry, guys. I've just farted. Sorry, guys. I've just farted.
You should have a bit of respect and their manners.
Yeah, sorry,
What kind of
man.
an animal do you
I
think you
couldn't
are?
hold it in.
What kind of an animal do you think you are?
I know. I'm sorry. I did say sorry. Sorry.
However, in 2014 and 2000,
Look if the kids found that shit amusing. The kids are always giggling. Like playing a ukulele in the fucking corner here. What the hell's happening?
15, Sam ran into a problem. He began to experience massive levels of competition from other YouTube pranksters who were faking their videos.
Then all these other prank channels, they started coming out, and they'd be doing more and more and more crazy stuff. Because I
Yeah, but usually if they were to pull that in real life, they'd be being to a pulp.
come from doing pranks, I'd be like, there's no way they could be doing that. And that's when I worked out all this stuff is fake.
This was clearly a defining point for Sam Pepper and his social media career. At some point in their journey, each of these fake pranksters have this similar awakening where they realize they can get way more views if they simply fake whichever reaction they desire, and that there's no actual requirement or guideline saying that their pranks need to be real. Each justify their actions by saying that a bunch of things on TV are fake, or this is fake, or that is fake, and as a result, there's no reason as to why their pranks can't be fake either. Now, faking stuff for social media is a high-risk, high-reward strategy. Sure, it increases the quality of the videos massively, as
Oh look, FouseyTube, the guy that went batshit crazy.
Huh.
I am so happy that his channel is more dead than most people will ever know.
Yeah, I think I remember him. I think.
Like he was basically the asshole that started making a scene on the airplane, and they kicked him out, and then he tried to say the airport was Islamophobic when he was acting like a fucking lunatic, freaking people out on the plane.
Oh, okay.
Maybe just maybe they should have kept him on the plane, but just booted him out once they got 10,000 feet in the air without a chute. Let's see if you can fly.
Is he going to get that exact reaction which will make the video perfect?
No, choke
However,
him
this
out, choke him
only
out.
lasts until the audience inevitably discovers that the videos are fake, making it optimal only in the short term. We discussed this in the video talking about how Vitaly destroyed his reputation. As soon as the audience discovers that you faked even one video, they assume that every single video you've ever made is fake, completely removing all of your credibility in the space of about a month. The point at which Sam Pepper's audience discovered that his pranks were fake is pretty damn obvious. On his social blade, he went from gaining 100,000 subscribers every single month consistently between January 2013 and September 2014. However, 1 month later in October 2014, the growth not only stopped, but he began to lose around 10,000 subscribers every single month. The catalyst for this massive dive in viewership was a video titled Fake Hand Ass Pinch Prank. And after receiving a barrage of criticism from other YouTubers,
his most recent fake hand ass pinch garnered the most negative attention because he was grabbing women's bottoms without their permission.
as well as a trending hashtag on Twitter stating "Report Sam Pepper," he had no other choice but to admit that the video had been faked.
I want to say that all the videos were staged and scripted. It goes without saying you can't go around touching people's bums without asking.
It was a double whammy, or two for the price of one. Not only had he been exposed for faking pranks, but he also had his name dragged through the mud as a result of the backlash from the video. Sam began posting real pranks again following the expose in the hope that it'd fix his reputation. However, as mentioned previously, once your audience knows you faked even one video, they assume they're all fake. Switching back to real pranks failed to stop his declining subscriber count, so Sam made a decision. It was time to go back to faking his videos.
I'm still making videos, and then it gets to a point where I'm like, okay, well, I've made fake videos before and they've done well and they've got like decent views. Why don't I make, another video? And that brings me on to making the best friend killing prank.
I have a question. How many melanated skunks do you think he had to farm just so we could keep making a new wig? Seriously, did he have them all like in a fucking dungeon somewhere where he had them all just sitting there and he just started picking up a new one every other week?
I wonder how much he paid for that haircut.
Honestly, if anyone pays for what happened to his head there, that's what you'd pay someone to not do that to you. You wouldn't pay someone to voluntarily do that to you. It's literally what you would do if you were trying to bribe someone to leave you alone and then they held you down and did it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the little baby bitch in the timeout until he learns to behave like a normal adult.
No, wait, what's going on?
Like, apparently we have like a bunch of we have like a pair of people and lovely little alts apparently in the comment section freaking the fuck out. It's like, dude, I don't get what you want from me.
Oh shit. Okay.
Hearing me call you a halfwit is not gonna make your dad come home with the milk, dude. I'm sorry that your mother beats the shit out of you every day and that your father looks at you like a failure. But why am I to blame for your personal inadequacies, sir? All right, back on track.
The best friend killing prank.
Oh, God,
Arguably
no.
one of, if not the most over-the-top insane YouTube pranks of all time.
Why
Certainly
did it
crazy
happen?
enough to put Sam Pepper's name back on the map. Involved in the video was the fake kidnapping of two friends, after which one of the friends is apparently killed right in front of the other, with the premise of the video being how will someone react if they watch their friend get killed.
Let's see how he reacts to his best friend of 5 years being killed in front of him.
Obviously, the whole
Probably
thing
a
was
horror
fake. All three
heartbreak
people were in on it, even coming up with the idea together.
Sam's channel, like he just came to us and wanted to get a viral stunt, and we're like, okay, cool, we'll help you out with this viral stunt. So we actually all three came up with the idea together before we
So
Oh,
even filmed it.
However, while everyone knew that the prank had been faked, it had a similar effect to the previous scandal.
Did you know making this type of prank would be so controversial?
All it did was once again reveal to everyone that Sam Pepper was the kind of guy to fake his videos, reducing his credibility even further. With this in mind, it's no surprise that almost all of his audience bailed on his YouTube channel from that point onwards. He managed to stop the decline of his subscriber count for a couple of months in late 2016 as shown on screen. However, he'd thrown the towel only a couple of months later, uploading his final video on the 5th of March 2017 before departing with a legacy as one of the most deplorable fake pranksters in YouTube history. Around a year later, he'd show up on the CX network doing some IRL live streams alongside Ice Poseidon.
We're literally just showing Sam the ropes.
Oh yeah, the dickhead that rips people off for almost $1 million in crypto. Wow.
I mean, all I can say is I hope that he managed his money well when he was earning some from his videos.
I mean, Ice Poseidon is literally what fucking. Let's see. I want to write a sci-fi story where a dad goes out to buy milk and falls into a space portal and shoots. 10 years in the future, everyone thinks he ran on his wife and kid. Oh dear. Honestly, it would be kind of an interesting short story, although I have to admit it'd be a bit confusing trying to explain some of the gaps. Like, where was he? Like, how? Like, was it instantly for him, or was he trapped in like a parallel universe for 10 years? That's one of the questions I really want to know is like, was it like a split second for him and then 10 years for everyone else, or was it 10 years in a different universe?
He discovered what comes after
IRL
that.
streaming, and just, we're going to just throw him in the deep end here and just see how he does.
With the reputation of Sam Pepper being so downtrodden that the top comment on the video praised Ice Poseidon by stating, "Love how you don't judge people or care about reputations." Sam
It's not that he doesn't care. It's just that this is before he got caught trying to ripping people off for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So at this point, it's not like he had much to worry about.
had some success as an IRL streamer in the CX network. However, he was ultimately dropped after an argument with Ice Poseidon, which had partially been fueled by Sam Pepper's lack of integrity.
He's like, oh, it's okay to lie as long as it doesn't affect anything. And that's not okay. Like, why are you...
Hold on a minute. Need I remind the hypocrite featured in the foreground right now that they themselves ripped off their own supporters in a fake cryptocurrency scam, and yet he's telling other people it's not okay to lie?
Yeah, a lot of these people tend to be massive hypocrites. Just people like
this particular statement from Ice Poseidon aged about as well as milk left out in the sun for several months.
Are you telling my girlfriend it's okay to lie to me as long as it doesn't affect anything? Like, dude, this is not your relationship.
After this, Sam Pepper disappeared from the mainstream. His reputation was completely and utterly destroyed. He had nothing left to offer, and it seemed as though the Sam Pepper saga was finally dead and buried, alongside the many other failed YouTubers that had come along before him. However, it would be when Sam Pepper found a new audience on a new platform that his fraudulent antics would continue.
Don't you love the ads that no one asked for?
Of course, I live for them.
Okay, Chris, I pulled out some of my...
The video that would have ended 9 minutes ago ended up blasting 20 minutes because of several minute-long ads.
savings. I've clicked it onto these balloons. This is a trust exercise.
Bang.
Turn around, I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, go. You've got to turn around and quickly grab them. Don't let this go. This is my savings. 3, 2, 1. Chris!
This video, which was clearly set up and probably used a stack of fake $100 bills, racked up over 28 million views. Now, the most interesting
Yeah, if that was real money, I would have just punched him right in the face because you intentionally let the money get out of reach at that point.
Yeah, and plus, who would wait that fucking long to turn around and try to go for it?
I mean, wouldn't you have noticed the shadow, for example? Because the lights cast a shadow. You would have noticed the fucking shadow of the money slowly going over your own silhouette at that point.
part about Sam Pepper's TikTok blow up is that it follows the exact same trend as his YouTube journey. He blows up with a genuine heartfelt video about saving some duck eggs from a restaurant, then progressively makes his content more and more staged, and by the end he's claiming that he's won the lottery with absolutely zero evidence. Now,
I mean, at least he saved the ducks.
But to Sam Pepper's credit, as we mentioned previously, a lot of his TikToks were genuine, authentic, creative ideas, especially in the beginning. However, with videos such as this clearly fake one gaining over 18 million views.
Hey, open this door for me. Get me out of here.
Open this.
Oh no. Like, you know for a fact, if he had, like, the moment the cop saw him reaching for the door, that cop would have been out of the car with his gun drawn.
Oh, yeah.
So what the fuck do you think you're doing? Okay, well, if you want to let him out, you get in. Trading places, motherfucker.
Hey, what'd you do that for?
It's really no surprise that he began to make his videos faker and
I know this is really crazy, but if I play you rock, paper, scissors and I win, can I, like, rip this down the street? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Let's go! You gotta get in the passenger, I'm scared.
No, you're good. You can have it.
All right.
People who think this is real. The countless fake viral videos receiving
I don't even want to know who drives a car that expensive and just gives it to some random asshole, even just to drive it down the road.
Right.
Because I'm not sure what model or make that is, but that car most likely costs close to $250,000 at minimum. And you're going to let some random asshole get in your car and drive it? Like, I would be fucking worried that that dude is just going to bail with the car and I'm never going to fucking see it again. Like, especially if they can sell it or have it cut for parts, because you know for a fact the chop shop would pay top dollar for an exotic vehicle.
Yeah. I mean, if there was a place to make a resurgence for him, it would definitely be fucking TikTok.
It's made for people who literally eat their own saliva.
Yes.
Now, there are some funny people out there, and there are some people that can definitely make informative and entertaining content, but that's very few and far between.
Yeah.
I like to think it was a Batmobile. Anyone who wasn't the owner trigger self-destruct. Oh god, it just has an ignition bomb if you don't match the biometrics that it's been programmed to recognize. If your fingerprint does not match the one that the fucking steering wheel is used to, and you're not vocally recognized as someone the driver knows, it'll just blow the fuck up. Speak. Hello? Unrecognized. Second attempt. Speak. What? Not recognized. Boom. Wow, then.
Massive view counts and minimal backlash likely gave Sam Pepper the idea that he could literally just say whatever, regardless of how unbelievable it happened to be, leading to his completely fictitious claim about winning the lottery. When you Google Sam Pepper wins lottery or Sam Pepper lottery, the only results that come up are his TikTok video, the same video posted to his Instagram, and an old forum post titled as follows: Scam Pepper living a life of luxury after scamming his followers for millions and fleeing the US. He's claiming to have won the lottery while shopping for islands and a new fan base to scam. This refers to the whole Save the Kids scandal that was exposed by CoffeeZilla back in July 2021. In the final episode of his series, CoffeeZilla discovered that Sam Pepper was potentially at the heart of the entire scam and had fled the USA to move back to the United Kingdom.
It looks like Sam Pepper is fleeing the United States to escape legal accountability for what happened. But I asked him about this, and he, of course, denies this categorically.
Therefore, this post stating Scam Pepper living a life of luxury after scamming his followers for millions assumes that he does actually have the money, only that he's covering it up by saying that he won the lottery as opposed to the truth being that he might have received it from the Save the Kids crypto scam. Although, in order to be buying an $8.9 million
Was Ice Poseidon involved? Because that would explain a lot.
Island in Thailand, you're probably going to need around 50 to 100 million in order for it to be a comfortable purchase. And while Sam Pepper has had a fairly successful social media career, I doubt he has access to that kind of money. Obviously,
I wouldn't want to own an island because you know for a fact that if it's a bad enough type, if you get like one bad tsunami, and especially if you're like in an island that's not very stable, if it's based on like some really soft stone, or if it's a stone that's like very, very brittle, that island is going to go under, or you're going to get swept right into the ocean, and the island's basically just going to be like, well, have fun, dick. It was nice having you for a while. Unless you build like a fucking tower, just like a lighthouse to sit in during the tsunami, where you know you're above the water.
Obviously, the easiest way to put all of this to rest would be for Sandpepper to simply provide some kind of evidence for either winning the lottery or the purchase of the island. However, with a track record like Sam's filled with fake video after fake video, it seems pretty obvious that, like the rest of his entire career, this is nothing more than yet another hoax.
It just doesn't fucking learn, never grows.
An entire career based upon lies.
I bet his fucking parents are proud. So proud.
I mean, he could have turned out worse, but he definitely could have turned out much better too.
Yeah. And he's probably the type of person to blow his money all the time on stupid things. So he's probably just going to be perpetually broke too whenever his next scheme dries up.
I mean, there are definitely some things that could have been done better, but the fact is, it's like, this is like having a grown man repeatedly fucking with his subscribers and then like, give me money because I'm fucking up. Hang on to your hat, Steve. We're gonna see something that's gonna torture both of us.
Oh God.
Don't you love it when people use Plotagon because they're not smart enough to actually organize something?
Oh boy.
When you need to like your own shit. And he already eats his own shit, so this wouldn't be too far off.
No, it wouldn't be.
You can't function in society. You have no place here. What's your problem? My problem.
My problem is that you're a fucking douchebag that does retarded shit like this for attention.
Oh,
it's like the embodiment of being a brain dead fucking 6-year-old that thinks he's sophisticated or intelligent. If your father was still alive, he'd most likely want me to throw you down a flight of stairs.
I think he might have wanted the abortion, but he didn't get it.
I mean, it's one thing to have a kid that's disabled. I imagine it can be a little bit exhausting dealing with some of their demands because, you know, anyone that's disabled, especially children, are probably difficult to handle.
Yeah.
And I would understand the frustration, but the problem is, Professor Curious said it best when he said something. It's like, he looks like he's been placed in an environment where he's been isolated from the public his entire life. And that's why he doesn't have a personality. He doesn't have interests of note. He doesn't have anything going on for him except whatever dumb bullshit he can provoke to get other people to say something. And he doesn't seem to realize that this is a major fucking problem.
Yeah.
If I'm an island, I'd have the greatest bum fight areas known to man. 24/7. The hobo death match. On this side, we have Toothless Joe. On that side, we have Crazy Steve.
Oh, God.
Just a broken bottle and a rubber knife. It's not even a real knife. It's just a fucking Halloween prop with a retractable blade that's spring-loaded.
From Party City.
The problem is that you are kind of pathetic. You don't even have a life. No job, no relationship.
Yeah, so what?
And I would like to know, why are you calling me a neo-Nazi?
Because that's what I think you are.
I don't.
Keep in mind, he said this with literally no proof. I think you are. It's like, okay, according to what?
I think you are, therefore you are.
It's like, I think, therefore I am, only applies if it's the person thinking themselves, you illiterate spaz. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Don't understand why it is that you think I'm a neo-Nazi. Please explain.
Are you trying to challenge me, Gage?
No, I'm asking you a fucking question, you dipshit. Like, why is it that when someone asks you a fucking question, you freak the fuck out instead of just simply saying it's either yay or nay? Oh, let's read the comments. It's because some random nonce told you he was a neo-Nazi, and because you're birds of a feather, you flock together, and now you're both parrot the same lie. Really? Yes, really, dipshit. Do you think he said it for fun? No one tries to explain shit to his ass for fun. It's because they genuinely are trying to help him understand that he's just too fucking stupid to listen to anyone.
Yeah, so Jewish neo-Nazi. Yeah.
Yeah, like remember, the Jewish neo-Nazi who sleeps with someone of a different ethnicity. Okay, this is so
Gage,
fucking confusing.
You're doing a really fucking shitty job of this Nazi thing, Gage.
I'm doing a bang up job flying in the face of everything that those people stand for. And the weirdest part is, like, instead of just simply saying, okay, well, maybe I'm wrong because there's no proof, it's like, I believe this. Like, you can believe whatever you want, but that doesn't make it fucking true. I mean, the difference between how other people believe shit and how he believes shit usually goes as follows. Other people supply proof, he just randomly assumes shit, and then it's supposed to be like the be-all end-all of the situation is, I believed it, therefore it's true. It's like, that only works if you can find things that help substantiate their statement. Can someone explain to me how 486 people actually listen to this jackass? Like, there's no fucking way this is legit. Given the fact that 32 views, so that means like less than 10% of the people that supposedly sub watch this shit. I smell fucking sub botting.
Absolutely.
Run, Katie. He's gonna try to bum you. Oh God. Something's wrong with that cat.
Oh, the poor cat. What the fuck?
What the fuck? I wish he would actually just have an actual conversation or sit down and actually talk about something rather than doing this retarded shit where it's basically, I'm just going to repeat it. I'm just going to factory farm a bunch of mass-produced horse shit that's not even worth 5 minutes worth of content. And I'm going to try to convince myself that what I'm doing makes logical sense.
It's a fun game of mental gymnastics.
This is what happens when someone's brain is literally eating itself, and instead of trying to say, maybe, just maybe, I need to get some fucking help.
This is what happens when you don't slap the baby upon it coming into the world.
I mean, here's the thing. Maybe, just maybe, they should have kicked the baby.
Maybe they should have punted it across the highway.
I mean, here's the thing. I feel bad that he lost his father. I mean, it's really sad that his father passed away. I'm not going to pretend that it's not. But I don't feel bad for someone who actively acts as the source of their own problem.
Yeah.
Because the dude is literally his own worst enemy. He will do something fucked up and then say he didn't do it and then do something just as fucked up like a day later whenever he thinks no one's paying attention to him. The script is literally copy and paste of an actual discussion you had with him on Discord. But yeah, it really is. It's a copy and paste of a question that someone asked him. And instead of simply saying, okay, well, I don't know what it means, then just simply ask someone to explain it to you. Instead, it's just, believe what I said because some other retard told me this. Yeah, if neither one of you have evidence about why someone is X, Y, and Z, they need to just fucking stop. Because it's just fucking sad.
Very.
It's just stupid because it's more or less like, I'm not at fault for my actions. Yeah, you fucking are. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing whilst you're doing it, and you're trying to make other people feel confused. Like, you're trying to make them feel like shit because you decided to make an ass of yourself. How the fuck does that work? I mean, one of the jokes that Prof and I made, like, if he did have a Bolt, if like the dude literally humped a stuffed Bolt plushie for attention, it wouldn't be too far to say that he might try to hump a small child for more attention, even if it means the cops have to beat him senseless while he's getting the attention.
Yeah,
like, let's be honest. Like, I think that Lance is a nonce, and the reason I think that is because the entire time all that shit was going on involving Rapey and all the other nonsense that he was getting caught with, the entire time isn't holy shit, what the fuck did I do? It's always quick. Don't believe the evidence. Believe what I'm telling you when I change the story 9 times. It's like, sorry, I cannot believe someone whose story is so inconsistent. The Joker has a more consistent memory of his own origin story.
That, and I don't know, from the videos that I've seen of Lance, like, I'm convinced the guy just does not have any, like, sense of personal hygiene. The dude always looks greasy as fuck.
That's
Like-
another thing that Prof pointed out. It literally looks like he just came out of the fucking grease pits. Even though he has decent muscle tone, he looks like he's been placed in an environment isolated from the world for his entire life, to the point where he's just completely out of touch with everything around him.
Yeah, it's sad to say.
I mean, his parents realize this isn't 1936 right now, right?
Yeah, they can't just drug him up with Ritalin every day and just put him in his room and leave him to
Like,
his
we
own.
basically we pump him full of drugs, we keep him in his room, and he shuts the fuck up as long as we got him on the interwebs.
Pump him full of drugs, give him the Ritalin, throw in some Benadryl there as well.
Just tranquilize his ass with the Benadryl. I mean, the problem with Benadryl is the fact that it is good to suppress allergic reactions, but if you have like one or two, that's usually enough to put a grown man down.
Oh yeah, the few times that I took Benadryl when I was like a teenager for my allergies, it put me on my ass.
It's like, what the fuck is this, carfentanil?
Made the mistake of taking Benadryl once when I was going out to the store with I was like 13, 14. I took Benadryl for my allergies, went to the store with my mom, and I was like fighting not to fall asleep while I was in the store.
He bummed stuffed dog to death. It's the cat's turn. Damn it, bro. There's a reason he's calling the cat over. It's not because he wants to pet the kitty cat. Thing is, the dude is just he's an enigma wrapped in a mystery, and it's not because he's hard to figure out. It's just because you wonder why the fuck it is his parent lets him do anything unsupervised, given the fact that he does a lot of shit that the average adult knows not to do because it's just a bunch of dumb bullshit that's going to cause problems. Part of me, like, honestly, I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. Part of me really just believes that as soon as he got out of fucking school, his parents literally just said, fuck it, the dude doesn't have a purpose, so we're just going to put him up on the fucking internet, and we're just going to leave him be up there, and just hope that whatever the fuck happens will happen, and that nothing bad will come of it. Well, at the same time, we're not going to teach him anything about internet safety or internet etiquette. We're just going to hope that the internet will raise him the rest of the way, and whatever the fuck happens will happen.
And then when we eventually kick the bucket, he'll just be on government assistance his entire life.
Now, here's the thing. I know that he didn't choose to be disabled. I know it's not really something that anyone really chooses. But when you consistently make it a point to just say, well, I'm disabled, so nothing I do is my fault, it's going to make everyone have no sympathy for you at that point, because you've just automatically shown everyone that you don't give two shits about everything.
Yeah, that's a very shitty thing to do. I mean, how many people have we encountered like that on this site? I mean, Dustin is another perfect example of that.
Like, we have Dusty, Cranium, fucking, like, Dusty, Cranium, Lance, like, we have, like, 4 or 5, like, fucking Todd.
Yeah.
Niece, like, how many people do we have with mental problems on fucking YouTube that seemingly blame their mental issues for every one of their bullshit because they don't want to think to themselves, maybe this isn't worth pursuing because this is a bunch of bullshit that's not helpful to anyone?
I can be as shitty of a person as I want and fuck over as many people as I want and just make all the bad decisions in the world. And it's fine because I have autism or I have something else or
if anyone dares point it out, they're the asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the worst part is, like, there's, like, no self-awareness, or the self-awareness they do have is so incredibly fucking rare that it almost feels like they're intentionally missing the point just so they can sit there and say that nothing they did was their fault.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, have you heard from Dan recently?
No, I have not.
Because I haven't seen him around. I hope whatever he's doing that he's all right, because I haven't heard from him in a while.
I want to say I saw a comment not too long ago from him somewhere. I forget what video it was on, but I want to say I saw something from him fairly recently. But I haven't really heard from him, no.
Honestly, the one thing that I can't help but find that, like, honestly, I think most people would echo the sentiment that nobody wants to have the asshole around that's just going to constantly say, yeah, you know what, it doesn't matter what I do or who I do it to, because the fact that I identify as a disabled person of whatever class means that I'm immune to being ridiculed for it.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll flip it around and say that you're bullying a disabled person or something like that.
Which is weird, because if the person that's, quote, bullying them is also disabled, then there's no point in throwing that excuse out there, because then it's more or less an even match.
Yeah.
Like, it is not my fault that you just happen to be less intelligent than me. It's not like you couldn't have read up on this kind of shit and learned about it yourself. It's just that your parents didn't make you learn shit.
Basically.
All right, Steve, you about ready to go? Because I imagine that I know I have to go to sleep in a little while because I have inventory tomorrow. It's going to be so much fun.
Oh shit, yeah. I've also got to work tomorrow, so yeah, probably better heading off here pretty soon. So.
Okay, well, I want to thank Steve for donating his time.
Yeah, absolutely. It was fun.
Thank everyone for dropping by. All right, I'm going to pop Steve out, and then we're going to put our final slide up for the night.
All right.
Rising sea.